gentlemen, this time last year, me and Kevin Hawk had the privilege of seeing NXT live. This is one of the first times that it was able to travel outside of Full Sail University. Well, this weekend, this year is no different because we started off Wrestlemania weekend with a hell of a bang because we had NXT Takeover Dallas.
And they took over.
Oh yeah, I mean, we knew that WrestleMania had to up their game last year when NXT wasn't being filmed and didn't have the big grandiose setup and everything. Now they did. Now WrestleMania really needs to kick it into overdrive because this was one hell of a way to start the weekend. So let's get right into it. We opened up with our NXT Tag Team title match with the Revival defending against Chad Gable and Jason Jordan, American Alpha. These two teams started it off at just a fever pace.
Yeah.
These guys went hard and heavy right out of the gate.
It was a good choice of an opener.
Yeah, no, I mean, you got a really good balance of technical style and athleticism and just rough and tough wrestling. It's a mixed bag as far as these four guys are concerned. And yeah, it was just a great pace to start off the entire show. Chad Gable and Scott Dawson, their ability to out-wrestle each other is fantastic. Yeah. Always fun to watch that. Jason Jordan hitting suplexes and drop kicks and just heavy hitting. Speaking of heavy hitting, Dash Wilder clotheslining the shit out of Chad Gable on the outside. Like, Dash came to fucking play in this match.
Yeah, and he had the same, same sort of impact and same sort of, ferocity behind the European uppercut he gave Jason Jordan through the ropes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Revival
play around.
The Revival did have the one botch of the match as displayed here in our ring. Not the best timing, but I mean, that being the only mess up throughout. Well, that being the only real mess up through the entire show, and this match in particular set the stage really well. And we had a moment where we had battling back and forth of who was going to hit their double team finisher first and who was going to get the tag and who was legal and just all kinds of stuff going on. We had Dawson.
Like a long chain of different pins.
Yeah. Dawson and Gable were the legal men. And just back and forth pinfalls between the two. And then Dawson did a banderas to Gable over the top rope, which he was actually able to tag Jason Jordan. And Jason Jordan, from this point, jumps down and runs around the ring. I would imagine not only to get out of the line of sight of Scott Dawson, but to also probably take out Dash. So he runs all the way around the ring. Chad Gable ducks a punch from Dawson and knocks him back into the corner. Dawson ends up getting the big shoulder to the gut, tag and assisted back suplex. Dash is just a second too late. And your new NXT Tag Team Champions are American Alpha. And a hell of a way to start off this show.
Yeah, kudos. It was a fantastic opening match.
And then we keep trucking right along. We have our first debut. We have two debuts on this show. Very first, we have Austin Aries taking on Baron Corbin. And these two came right out of the gate. There was the theme of this match was aggression. Yeah. You know, with the way that the initial debut of Austin Aries had gone, Austin Aries wasn't holding anything back.
No.
Baron Corbin was out to prove a point that Austin Aries didn't deserve to be there, and that he was pretty much stealing the spotlight from Baron Corbin. And I mean, overall, this is the weakest match of the show, but was still extremely entertaining.
Yeah, no. It's a weird, the weakest match on the show was like a 7 out of 10.
Absolutely,
If I'm, calling all these matches, they're all 7 to 9 in my book.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great, it's hard when you're the size of Baron Corbin and Austin Aries to not just go directly into the stereotypical
David versus Goliath.
Big man versus little guy match, which I mean they did a lot of those stereotypical moments, but with like the way Austin Aries was being so aggressive early on was definitely leaning itself a lot towards the idea of, well, he is way bigger than me, so I need to bring more aggression and more of my force, more of my body weight, and not let him get the advantage.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
Aries forced himself to be bigger than he actually is. And that's kind of the fight you have to bring when you go against a guy like Baron Corbin.
And I dug Baron Corbin. He's getting better at trash talking.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
He played such a great heel in this match. It was so much fun to watch. We got some great moves out of Austin Aries. We got to see his Lope Suicido. We got to see just him just being aggressive and just jumping really high, and then like his slingshot over the top rope, and then slapping the back of Baron Corbin's head on the way down.
Yeah.
And just Austin Aries is like such a little scrappy fighter in matches, and when he's going against Baron Corbin, it works out really well. And Baron Corbin obviously playing the power game, hitting the deep six on the outside.
Ouch.
And just, being extremely physical. And then he would go for the end of days. And we've only seen this happen one other time. I believe it was Finn Balor in the Triple Threat. The back roll over Baron Corbin's arm. This would allow him to hit an O'Connor roll. And Baron Corbin gets pinned by Austin Aries due to the O'Connor roll. And Austin Aries got the hell out of there at that point. So I'm definitely seeing a rematch in the coming weeks.
Oh yeah.
This is something that they can easily build off of, and Baron Corbin is going to be extremely heated moving forward from here. But
gotta say, they do kind of treat Baron Corbin like the Bray Wyatt of NXT.
Yeah. I think Baron Corbin gets treated better. It's probably because he's in NXT. But
sign a petition. Wyatt's back to NXT.
No, Baron Corbin's going to get moved out. He's going to take Luke Harper's spot while he's injured.
I'd almost say it would work, but it's going to take the entire time that Luke Harper is injured for Baron Corbin to grow a beard long enough to be worthy of the Wyatt family.
That's fair.
Or he can just take all this stuff that's barely hanging on anyways, right here in the front of his head.
He just needs to shave his head and be
He needs to glue it.
He just needs to be the darker-haired Rowan.
No, he just needs to pull it out and then plug it in.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Maybe I should try that. Mine would look fun. Now, moving right along, our second debut. This one, probably the most exciting out of the two. Shinsuke Nakamura making his debut against Sami Zayn. Easily match of the night.
Yeah. It very well could stand up to being match of the weekend.
And it's definitely a contender for match of the year.
Yeah.
Both of these guys out to prove a point.
Mm-hmm.
Sami Zayn, the heart and soul of NXT, wanting to prove that he does deserve that spotlight. He's still looking at that goal of being a two-time NXT champion, the only two-time NXT champion. But he's got a hell of a task in front of him because Shinsuke Nakamura is nobody to fuck with.
Yeah, he's nobody to do things less than fucking with.
And this...
You don't even mess with him.
Just starting from the entrance, this is 100% Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
There was no type of gimmick change. There was no, hey, this is the WWE version of Shinsuke Nakamura. No, this is Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
Straight up from beginning to end. His entrance. I love his theme song. It's fantastic. Very light. The light violin with kind of the rock sound behind it. Very elegant, very aggressive at the same time. Fits his personality super well. And then just watching him do all of the stuff that made him big in Japan. Watching just the nonchalant, ducking under the initial lockup between him and Sami, and then that one moment when he's got his head against Sami Zayn, and like Sami is then like he backs up and he tells Sami to gives him a little gesture like bring it on, and then Sami like comes out and he whips Sami down and like almost stomps on his head and then tries to kick his head off of his shoulders. And just in an instant, you go from fun, playful Shinsuke Nakamura to I'm going to knock you out with every appendage I have, Nakamura.
Yeah, and it's a great thing to watch Nakamura not change up his style.
Yeah.
Specifically, I mean, I'm sure it's going to start happening because
Yeah.
how are they going to fit into the WWE mold if it doesn't start happening?
Yeah.
But it's great to go with the whole idea of like, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to the extent it's definitely something that works, and it works for Nakamura, but you're definitely going to see it toned down over the weeks because, you know, it just doesn't flow with the WWE style matches.
Yeah.
But it's so that's what makes it so entertaining though, is because it's not the same formulaic thing you see over and over and over again.
It's refreshing.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's a bad thing to be the WWE version of this character because, the WWE mantra is, you did great outside, but now you're here. Now you start over. Now you create something new. Now you become a different person.
Yeah.
Whereas you have this match where him and Sami Zayn just kick the shit out of each other, and he gets to be himself. And then progressively, as he gets more and more acclimated to the roster, you get, I guess it's bad to say, but it is kind of true, it's a watered down Nakamura eventually. But still, we get to see that progression, and we get to accept the way that he starts to wrestle, because that's going to be his consistent game plan. It's not, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, because it's working wonders for Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Owens still gets to be Kevin Steen, just turned down a couple notches. But no, this match so physical. I mean, you don't get anything less when you're going against Shinsuke Nakamura. Just his elbows, knees, forearms, stiff kicks to the head.
They were trading forearms for like 2 minutes.
Oh yeah,
straight.
Just back just when he thought it was about to stop, they'd pick it back up again.
Yeah, they'd throw forearms until they got tired, and then they'd get a second wind and start doing it again.
Yeah,
and they did it twice. They slowed down twice, and they had to speed up and
Sami hitting all of his stuff and diving onto Nakamura on the outside. It didn't work. He hit the Blue Thunder Bomb, but then when he went for his Torpedo DDT, he got kicked in the fucking face. So not all of the usual Sami Zayn fun spots were working out too well for Sami Zayn. And Shinsuke, we get to see him just be super aggressive. Just everything he does looks like it hurts.
Yeah,
It's
I'm certain 95% of it does.
At least 95%, if not closer to 100. But we get at one point where they're kind of fighting for who's going to control a corner. Sami goes for the haluva kick, and it gets ducked. And then Nakamura is able to hit an inverted exploder, and then tries to go for his knee that he calls the Kinshasa. And Sami's actually able to roll out of the way, and then Sami tries to go for an exploder of his own on the other side, and Nakamura keeps elbow, just again and again and again, just knocking Zayn down. And it gets to a point, what did Nakamura hit to finally set up for that? It was Sami went up for the superplex, or what we thought was going to be maybe the brain buster. We're still waiting for that one. Probably never going to happen. But Shinsuke's able to actually knock him down off of the second rope and knee him in the back of the head, getting him into that kneeling position, and then coming from the other side, hit the Kinshasa, and Shinsuke Nakamura picks up the win in his debut in NXT. And we have a very respectful end, a very emotional crowd, and Sami Zayn waving goodbye, possibly. Looks like this could be, I think Wrestlemania is officially like his first I'm only a main roster guy match. So thank you for your time in NXT, and good luck on Sunday.
Yeah, it was a great ending. If this is the end of Sami Zayn being the regular guy on NXT, great way to go out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we've seen it with the Ascension, we've seen it with Neville.
Mm-hmm.
The guys go back every now and again.
Absolutely.
The guys put out special appearances.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because, I mean, if you think about it, specifically the Ascension and Neville were two, like, groundbreaking champions
Right.
of NXT. Sami Zayn, I think it's gonna be the Tommy Dreamer effect,
Yeah.
where anytime anything ECW related happens, Tommy Dreamer's involved somehow. Now this is gonna be the next time some new guy says, "Oh, I'm better than anybody that's ever been on NXT."
You get Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, you know, who is, in my opinion, the guy who is the measuring stick in NXT.
Oh, absolutely. Now we move on to our ladies. We have the NXT Women's Championship on the line. Bayley defending against Asuka.
Good match.
Talk about more hard hitting. I thought it was going to be very much one-sided, and Bayley proved me wrong, because Bayley came to friggin' fight.
Yeah.
She was not backing down from Asuka. She was catching Asuka in some great, just out of nowhere submissions and holds, and she was really she was on fire in this match.
Yeah. Well, it's that's the Bayley thing, is that it's easy because of her character for you to believe that she's going to be outclassed.
Exactly.
In certain situations, and then when it comes down to it, she's ready for whoever she's going against. You know, it's the thing, you know, like Sasha Banks was such a dominant champion, but Bayley was ready for her when it came down time to do it. You know, everybody thought, oh, well, she's going against Nia Jax. Nia Jax is just going to squash her. Bayley found a way to get through that.
Yep.
So, you know, I didn't expect any different when she's going against Asuka. I expected Bayley to be ready and have, you know, cool things that we don't normally see Bayley do, specifically to, what's what I'm looking for, to complement the style that Asuka wrestles.
Right. And most notably, we saw her towards the end of the match really attacking the legs of Asuka.
Yeah.
First catching her in the knee bar, and then the ankle lock, and then the dragon screw leg whips, and just really trying to take out the base of Asuka. Because what Corey Graves said, if you take out those kicks, you take away half of Asuka's game. There, you know, she can't wear you down as well if she can't stand very. And then it was a lot of ground game from this point on, and Asuka kept going for the armbar, and it was at one point that she finally got the armbar like locked in, and it was that point that she was actually able to turn the armbar into the Asuka lock. And Bayley kept trying to fight her. She kept trying to run towards the ropes and grab it, but Asuka kept stopping her. Asuka then works her down and gets it locked in. Bayley escapes once, and then she gets dropped down into it again. And then eventually, Asuka has it in, completely cinched. Bayley's fighting, but she can't withstand the Asuka lock. She passes out in the hold. Ref calls for the bell, and your new women's champion is Asuka.
2 title changes so far.
Yeah.
1 left to go.
And we're going to go right into that title defense. That is the Demon Finn Balor defending the NXT Championship against Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
This is something that's built up since Takeover London. Joe, not getting it done in London. He's fought his way back through Baron Corbin and Sami Zayn, and he's made his way back to the title picture. And Finn is not backing down from this. He is so set on he is set on staying NXT champion. He even said he's obsessed with being the best. And
when you're the guy, you got to be the guy.
Yeah, and so he's going to stop at nothing to remain that NXT champion. Coming out with the really cool Texas Chainsaw Massacre entrance was fun. The added.
I liked the sleeveless coat.
Yeah, the paint and his outfit, the added blue to the black and red was a cool little accent. A cool little change to the usual demon makeup that we see, and as if the rest of the card hadn't been the same way, these guys came out swinging, and it showed right off the bat.
Yeah, well, like immediately in we almost locked up situation, Joe lifted a knee into Finn Balor's stomach region, and Finn started to double over, and they connected head to head, and it gave Joe a pretty good split on his right eyebrow.
Yeah, and it was immediately seconds into the match, Joe is covered in blood.
Yeah,
and it is just. I don't know if that was the trigger or if it was just hey, we need to be aggressive so they don't stop this match. We just need to keep going. But Joe went into overdrive and was just throwing Finn around.
Yeah.
He was when he threw him over the barricade and knocking out the security guard was so intense. And you couldn't. It could be the character. It could be the situation. It could be a million things. But you see scary Samoa Joe going at this point, and there is no stopping him. And Finn gets right back into it. He ends up doing a springboard clothesline off of the barricade, and they're fighting it out, just tooth and nail. Obviously, the crowd getting a little perturbed that we kept having to stop to check on the cut that was on. It was right on Joe's eyebrow.
Yeah, and I think that's the number one deterrent from why I didn't enjoy the match to its fullest potential, I guess, is that we had the moments where it was obvious that we had to slow down for specific reasons. And they did a great job considering the fact that the refs and trainers had to stop and look at Joe 5 or 6 times throughout the entirety of the match.
Yeah.
But it's just, they did a great job basically working around it.
Yes. And it was, no matter how much they had to slow down for these particular spots to try and make it so Joe could continue this match, Joe and Balor immediately go right back to just destroying each other. One of the other times I saw this happen in WWE is we had Rey Mysterio versus CM Punk a couple years ago, where their match ended up getting stopped, and as soon as I can't remember who it was that got busted open, probably Punk, but whoever it was, they immediately went right back at each other and started firing away, and that's exactly what Joe and Balor did. Is they did not, when they had to stop, they did, and they did a very good job of making it so they were just selling the whole time. But then as soon as they were anywhere near each other, they were destroying one another throughout the entirety of this match. And Joe was really trying to drive it home. He told Finn that he wasn't going to survive.
Yeah.
His mission was to put Finn Balor down and take the NXT Championship. And Finn was, he brought the aggression right back to him. They were some great, using so many different kick variations in this. He had the penalty kick. He had the Pele kick. He was hitting double stomps left and right. They threw everything at each other when they got the chance to. And it was ultimately Joe's obsession with just trying to put Balor down. He got him in the Coquina clutch, and Balor was about to win. He had just hit the Sling Blade, his drop kick, coup de grace, and was going for Bloody Sunday, and that's what allowed Joe to put the Coquina clutch in. You're thinking, okay, it's over at this point. But Joe wasn't able to get Balor down, and that allowed Balor to make his, he was almost out of it for a second, and then just kind of like fired himself back up, was able to use the turnbuckle,
fighting spirit,
use the turnbuckle to his advantage. And Kevin Hawk, this is one of your favorite finishes of all time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna let you talk about it.
It's the WrestleMania Intercontinental Title Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper match. You get a sleeper hold on the guy. The guy in the sleeper hold walks up the turnbuckles, pushes off, which you drop on top of the guy, and you roll your body weight over their head. Their arms are trapped underneath your face, basically smushed between heads. They can't get the arms out, and their shoulders are pinned to the mat.
And that's all Balor needed. 1, 2, 3, and then you could just see like the disappointment on Joe's face. He realized the situation he put himself in, and he's like, he knew that there were other ways he could have finished the match, and it was a realization of, I had it. It was right there, and I lost it. And Balor gave him a nod as Joe was making his way up the walkway. Balor's like, he was acknowledging the fact that they had just beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is going to sit well with Joe.
No. I mean, the way it is, it could go one of two ways. Because you feel like either Joe will be upset and want to go one more time with Finn Balor and be more basically amplifying how he was, and that would be, storyline wise, the wrong way to go, because if they just make it Joe lost because of this reason, he's just going to become more obsessed and fall victim to the exact same thing even faster. Whereas I think the smarter thing would be is when Joe steps back and takes this as a slice of humble pie and realizes he needs to focus more on winning the match than actually injuring his opponent.
Yeah, and after having lost 2 title matches to Finn Balor, I can't imagine that there's any excuse or anything that Joe could do to make himself be considered a number 1 contender. But we'll have to wait and see how that plays out over the next couple weeks in NXT TV. That is it for NXT Takeover Dallas review.
Woo!
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Click on the links.
Comment what your favorite match was. If you can go back, check out all my posts that I did on the Facebook while I was live posting. You can comment on any of those things if you want.
You can find those by clicking the links.
Yes. You can also check out the Instagram. We do weekly pictures. Yesterday's Finisher Friday was Samoa Joe's Muscle Buster, even though it wasn't enough to beat Finn Balor. And check out the playlist, because we have a ton of videos this week. It's WrestleMania week. We got all of our usual reviews up there. With a slight change to SmackDown. We had the SmackDown Underground this week. SmackDown being
first time ever.
SmackDown being accompanied by Lucha Underground. Coming up next, we will have WrestleMania predictions. Be sure to comment on that, who you think is going to be winning at WrestleMania tomorrow.
Not the granddaddy of them all anymore.
Nope, because it's too old.
Because Vince doesn't like things that sound old.
And after those WrestleMania predictions, we will have indie news, because Texas is hopping with independent promotions. There's a lot of shows going on this weekend. I believe you had 6 shows that you'll have results for.
There's Evolve shows. There's CZW,
Beyond Wrestling.
Shakara's doing shows. There's a lot of stuff going on.
So be sure to look forward to that. And then next week, starting episode 95, will be our WrestleMania review. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you at whatever video you decide to watch next.
WrestleMania. Copycat. Alcoholics Friday.
Yeah.